We've now set up some integration between our products project and our container. Let's now take a look at just our configuration around products and really understand what the module federation plugin inside the products Webpack config file is doing for us. So I just want to focus on this module federation plugin inside of products for right now. Okay, we're going to take a look at a couple of different diagrams, but first I want to go back over to my browser. I'm still at localhost 8080. Once here, I'm going to open up my console. I'm going to go to the network tab. I'm going to filter requests by JavaScript files. So now we're only going to see requests that are trying to load some JavaScript. And then I'm going to refresh the page. I'll then see a couple of different files are being loaded. Now remember, we are at localhost 8080 right now, which is the port for our development server for our container application. On this list of files, I'm going to right-click any one of the headers and then enable the URL column. Once I get that column up, I can take a look at where all these different requests are being made to. You'll notice that 3 different files are being made to localhost 8081, which is where our our products development server is running. So when we go to our container application right now, it looks like we are loading up 3 different files from products. One file is called remote entry, another is called source index.js, and another has a really long name that seems to be related to our Faker dependency. So now that we've identified these 3 different files that we are loading up from our products project, let's take a look at a diagram and understand what they're all about. Okay, so here's a diagram of what's going on inside of just our products project for right now. So we still have products, we still have an index.js file inside there that makes use of the Faker module. When we start up Webpack with this module federation plugin, we are now emitting 2 different sets of files. We are still bundling up that index.js file as usual, and we are spitting out a main.js file that includes everything from index along with all the dependencies that that thing requires. I only mention this because that means that we can still run our products project in isolation without having to worry about running a container or any other application. So we can still develop our entire products application in a kind of standalone environment. By adding in the module federation plugin, however, we are now emitting a second set of files. The module federation plugin is causing us to output another set of files, which are the remote entry file, source index, and something around Faker as well. These are the 3 files that we just saw inside of our network request log. The first file, remote entry.js, is a JavaScript file that contains kind of a manifest of sorts. It lists all the other files that have been emitted by the module federation plugin, and it also has directions on how to make use of them. The remote entry.js file can be thought of as being kind of a set of directions for other projects, like our container. This set of directions tells the container how to load up some source code from the products project. So the remote entry.js file will tell our container that if the container needs that source index.js file, well, here's some directions on how to go and fetch that file. And if it needs something around the Faker module, here's some directions on how to fetch this file as well. The source index.js file and the Faker.js files, once again, we saw these inside of our network request log just a moment ago, are essentially identical to the index.js file we've got inside of our products project and the actual Faker dependency, but they've been processed by Webpack. So rather than just having the exact code that we have inside of our code editor, such as this right here, Webpack will take all this code and convert it so that we can make use of modules like import statements and stuff like that inside the browser. Long story short, the version of this source index.js file and this Faker stuff that gets output from the module federation plugin can be safely loaded and executed in the browser. Let's go take a look at the source code for source index.js inside of our browser right now, just to see what it looks like once it's been processed by the module federation plugin. So back over here, I'm at my network request tab once again. Here is source index.js, and I can see that it's been loaded from our products project. If I click on that, and then go to the either preview tab or response, we're going to see some source code inside of here that essentially says, here is the source code from the actual source index.js file. All the source code from it is inside this eval string. And inside there, we can see that there are some directions saying, hey, well, we need to load up Faker. And then eventually, once we load Faker, we're going to create that product string, do our for loop, build up the list of product names inside of a div, and then eventually render that output to some element that's inside the DOM. So you can see very easily that this file right here has all the same code from our real source index.js file, but it also has some stuff injected into it by Webpack that says, here's all the other dependencies that this file requires to run safely. Okay, so at this point in time, we've really established what's going on with the Module Federation plugin when it is running in a remote mode, or essentially when we are telling the Module Federation plugin that we want to take some code out of our current project and make it available to other projects. The Module Federation plugin spits out this set of files that includes a set of directions on how other projects can get access to the source code of products. So now that we understand just that piece, let's take a pause here and then understand what this same plugin does over inside of our container application.